जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे, जय राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद राधे, जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा, जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंहा लक्ष्मी नरसिंहा लक्ष्मी नरसिंहा, जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंहा, जय गौरानिता गौरानिता गौरानिता, जय जय गौरानिता, जय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल, जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये, नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वतीति नामिने श्रीवार्षभालवी देवी दैताय कृपाब्दये कृष्णसम्बन्धविज्ञान दायिने प्रभवे नमः माधुर्यजुलप्रेमाढ्य श्रीरूपानुगभक्तिद श्रीगौरकरुणाशक्तिविग्रहाय नमोऽस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दीनतारिणे रूपानुगविरुद्धाप सिद्धान्तध्वान्तहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्बर सांबोधि पादाम्बुजाय ते नमः नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगवराय ते गौराविर्भावभूमे स्वं निर्देष्टा सज्जनप्रिय वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्रीजगन्नाथाय ते नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतुषे नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपः स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यां नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम् हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत श्रीराधाकांत नमोस्तुते जयतां सुरतौ पंगुर्मम मन्दिरमतिर्गते मत्सर्वस्व पदाम्भोजं श्रीराधामदनमोहनं दिव्यवृन्दारण्यं कल्पाद्रुमाधः श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद्राधा शीलगोविन्ददेवो प्रेष्ठानिधि सेव्यमानः स्मरामि श्रीमान् राससारंभी वंशीवटतटस्थितः कर्षन् वेणुस्वनिर्गोपीर्गोपीनाथ श्रीयेस्तुनः तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we'll chant the verses, 27 verses. If you can share in the screen, Chandrapati Prabhu, 27 verses. Hare Krishna. धृतराष्ट्रुवाच धर्मक्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे समवेतायुत्सवः मामका पाण्डवाश्चैव किमकुर्वत सञ्जय कार्पण्यदोषोपहतः स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेता यश्रेयस्यात् निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधि मां त्वां प्रपन्नम् श्रीभगवानुवाच अशोचानन्वशोचस्त्वं प्रज्ञावादांश भाषसे गतासु न गतासुंश्च नानुशोचन्ति पण्डिताः देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तरप्राप्ति धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति मात्रा स्पर्शास्तु कौन्तेय शीतोष्णसुखदुःखदा आगमापायिनो नित्यः तांसि तीक्षस्व भारत कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मफलहेतुर्भुः मा ते सङ्गोऽस्त्वकर्मणि. ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसः सङ्गस्तेषुपजायते सङ्गासञ्जायते कामः कामात् क्रोधो विजायते क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमः स्मृतिर्भ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशो बुद्धिः प्रणश्यति श्रीभगवानुवाच काम एष क्रोध एष रजोगुणसमुद्भवः तनो महापाप्मा विद्येनामिह वैरिणम् यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम् परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्मसंस्थापनार्थाय सम्भवामि युगे युगे जन्म कर्म च मे दिव्यम् एवं यो वेत्ति तत्त्वतः त्यक्त्वा देहं पुनर्जन्म नैति मामेति सोऽर्जुन भोक्तारां यज्ञतपसां सर्वलोकमहेश्वरं सुहृदं सर्वभूतानां ज्ञात्वा मां शान्तिमुच्यते योगिनामपि सर्वेषां मद्गदेनान्तरात्मना श्रद्धावान् भजते यो मां समे युक्ततमो बहुनां जन्मनामन्ते ज्ञानवान् मां प्रपद्यते वासुदेव सर्वमिति स महात्मा सुदुर्लभः अन्तकाले च मामेव स्मरणमुक्त्वा कलेवरं यः प्रयाति समद्भावं याति नास्तत्र संशयः पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं यो मे भक्ता प्रयच्छति तदहं भक्त्युपारुतम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः अहं सर्वस्य प्रभवो मत्तः सर्वं प्रवर्तते इति मत्वा भजन्ते मां बुधा भावसमन्वितः मच्चित्ता मद्गतप्राणां बोधयन्तः परस्परं कथयन्तश्च मां नित्यं तुष्यन्ति च तेषां सततयुक्तानां मच्चित्ता मद्गतप्राणां बोधयन्तः परस्परं कथयन्तश्च मां नित्यं तुष्यन्ति च रमन्ति च तेषां सततयुक्तानां भजतां प्रीतिपूर्वकं ददामि बुद्धियोगं तं येन मामुपयान्ति ते तेषामेवानुकम्पार्थम् अहमज्ञानजं तमः नाशयाम्यात्मभावस्तु ज्ञानदीपेन भास्वत श्रीभगवानुवाच मय्यावेशमनो ये मां नित्ययुक्ता उपासते श्रद्धया परयोपेता ते मे युक्ततमो मतः उपद्रष्टानुमन्ता च भर्ता भोक्ता महेश्वरः परमात्मेति चाप्युक्तो देहेऽस्मिन् पुरुषः पर मां च यो व्यभिचारेण भक्तियोगेन सेवते सगुणान् समतीतैतान् ब्रह्मभूयाय कल्पते यो मामेवमसम्मूढो जानाति पुरुषोत्तमं स सर्वविद् भजति मां सर्वभावेन भारत मन्मना भव मद्भक्तो मद्याजी मां नमस्कुरु मामे वैश्यसि सत्यं ते प्रतिजाने प्रियोऽसि मे सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वां सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः. So it is a request to the devotees, to all devotees, read these 27 shlokas every day. Try to memorize these shlokas. Once you are thorough with these shlokas, then we'll try to do 108 shlokas, of which these shlokas also will be there in that 108 shlokas. So try to memorize. This is known as Swadhyaya, purifying one's vak. Vak means not just tongue, it is speech. The purification of the speech can happen only when the shlokas are there in this tongue, and Saraswati resides in the tongue. That is why if we go on chanting, automatically there will be Saraswati Kripa. So Saraswati, Vagishayasya vadane Lakshmiryasya cha vakshasi yasyaste hridaye samvitam narsimham aham bhaje. So Saraswati is subservient to Narsimha, Lord Narsimha. Lord Narsimha's chest or the left side, Lakshmi resides. So it is said, one who chants Krishna's name, one who chants the verses of Bhagavad Gita, one who chants the verses which is glorifying Krishna, automatically Vak Devi, that is Saraswati Kripa, will be there. That is why chanting of the holy name is the foremost and it is the most important. If we don't chant the holy name and if we even try to understand Bhagavad Gita, it is impossible. Without chanting the holy name, it is very difficult to understand the verses of Bhagavad Gita because instructions of Krishna has started. From the 11th chapter, we have seen the instructions of Krishna started. So one should not consider that studying Bhagavad Gita is like studying some other course, something, some different another course, like material courses are there. One can by heart and just by heart the answers and just write down. Okay, you'll get full, you'll get 100 out of 100. But what about realizing a subject? Here, Bhagavad Gita means how much deep a person is realizing that subject. And that realization can only happen when we realize our position with Krishna. Who am I? I'm servant of Krishna. For realizing this position, this constitutional position, one has to chant the holy name. Then only we can revive our lost relationship. And it is only by bhakti one can understand the talk of Krishna. Without bhakti, without prema for Krishna, how are we going to understand what message he wants to give to us? It is not just the verses, it is not just Krishna spoke to Arjuna. In fact, Krishna has spoken all these verses for us, for me. In this way, one has to develop that love for the verses. And it can only happen when we love the person who has spoken the verses. And the love for that person can happen only when we chant the holy name very sincerely. So take a vow that you're chanting the holy name very nicely. Start with at least 4 rounds and come at least minimum 16 rounds. Come to the platform of at least minimum, it is just a minimum, it is not maximum, minimum 16 round chanting. Srila Prabhupada has focused on this minimum 16 round chanting, which happens in the morning hours. The moment you wake up early in the morning, this Brahma Muhurta, one has to get up early in the morning and chant very nicely. Take bath and chant. After taking bath, one should decorate his body with tilak. Last time we had told that we'll be taking about the tilak also, Urdhva Pundram. There are 12 places where one has to put the tilak. That is how one purifies one's body. Because this body is made up of Malamutra and Krishna is Adhokshaja. Krishna is above all material senses. But see the love of Krishna, see the mercy of Krishna, that is allowing a Malamutra Sharira to serve him. If you see, outwardly we look very beautiful, even if we do makeup or whatever. Outwardly we look, okay, we are looking very decent, we look very beautiful. But inside, what is there? Inside, there is only Malamutra, Kaf, Vayu, Pitta, nothing else. So that means this body is made up of all these material elements. But in spite of the body made up of material elements, Krishna is allowing this body to serve him. So to understand, to spiritualize this body, one has to chant Krishna's name in the 12 places. Lord resides. In fact, Lord resides everywhere. But marking the tilak in these 12 places, invoking Lord, then you say Lord is not there, Lord is there. But consciousness should be in Krishna. Invoking Lord in our consciousness. It's not invoking Lord in our consciousness. Om Keshavaya Namaha. You can repeat after me wherever you're seeing. Om Keshavaya Namaha. This is the forehead. Om Narayanaya Namaha. Madhavaya Namaha. Om Govindaya Namaha. Then to your right side. Vaishnave Namaha. Om Vishnave Namaha. Vaishnave Vishnave Namaha. Om Madhusudanaya Namaha. Om Trivikramaya Namaha. Om Vamanaya Namaha. Om Sridharaya Namaha. Om Rishikeshaya Namaha. Om Padmanabhaya Namaha. Om Damodaraya Namaha. So this will be put in your group, your online group. So every day after taking bath in the morning, this is how a Vaishnava decorates his body with the names of Krishna. And then one has to light lamp and start chanting the holy name. But before lighting the lamp or before waking up Lord, one has to offer something to Lord. Like you like to give some sweets to the child, like that you have to give something to Lord, like some dry fruits, it can be some fruits or some kheer, whatever you have, some sweet. We should offer to Lord. Light the light lamp and agarbatti and lamp or dhoop and lamp. It is dhoopa deepa. It is not agarbatti. Agarbatti and all has come afterwards. It's actually dhoopa deepa. Offer some flowers And in this way, sit and chant the holy name. Chanting of the holy name is very, very important for this Kali Yuga. Without chanting of the holy name, one can never understand any verses. Even if we try to break our head with these verses, we can never understand the Guhya Tattva, because Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya Yoga, this is the Guhya Tattva. Even if we try to, because now Bhakti Shastri is going, Bhakti Shastri talk is going on. But even to understand everything, even to understand a diploma course, even to understand a Bhakti Shastri course, even to understand anything about Bhagavad Gita, if we don't chant sincerely, impossible to understand the word of Bhagavad Gita. But if you chant sincerely, even if a person is not so educated, still Krishna reveals this knowledge within his heart. Tesham satatayuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamam payanti. Krishna says, Tesham satatayuktanam, if he is continuously connected with me, Tesham satata, Krishna has told, not just 2 hours morning I will chant and then afterwards I'll completely forget Krishna. Wherever he is, let him be there. Whatever I am doing, let me do. No. In whatever activity we are involved, always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. Connect all those activities to Krishna. So, Tesham satatayuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. When a person is completely connected to Krishna and chanting the holy name of Krishna lovingly, bhajatam priti purvakam. Bhajatam not only includes chanting, it also includes service to Krishna. When the service to Krishna is done lovingly, Krishna says, Dadami buddhi yogam tam, I give that knowledge to him by which he can come back to me. Dadami buddhi yogam tam, yena mamu payantite. In this way, I give that knowledge to him by which he can come back to me. So this is the power of chanting. This is the power of devotional service. Even if a person is not educated, doesn't know anything about Sanskrit, nothing he knows. He just has to serve Krishna through the spiritual master. Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tatha guru tasyete katita yartam prakashante mahatmanaha. Krishna says, Yasya deve para bhaktir. If I love my guru as good as Krishna, I serve my spiritual master as good as Krishna, then Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tatha guru tasyete katita yartam. Krishna clearly says, I give that knowledge to him. In Padma Puran, this verse, I give that knowledge to him by which he can come back to me. So Krishna can be only understood by following the Sampradayic teachings. That is why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita also, I gave this knowledge to Vivaswan, and in this way it comes evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu. I give this knowledge through parampara. So till 30th verse we saw, 11 to 30th verse, we saw how Krishna has given a very elaborate explanation for the first reason of Arjuna for not fighting the war. The first reason was, oh, they are my relatives. How can I fight with them? My guru, my grandfather, my relatives, my cousin. I cannot fight with them. They are my people. Krishna says, what? My. I am not the body, I am soul. That is what is taught here. There is a distinct difference between the body and the soul. Howsoever you don't want to kill them, but it is not that whether you want to kill them or you don't want to kill them, you want them to live or you don't want them to live. It is not according to what you want, but the nature is the body, howsoever it is tried to be protected, it is always perishable. Body cannot be protected. Body is perishable, but the soul never dies. So in this way, the knowledge about the distinct difference between the soul, the matter, and the controller of soul and matter, which has not been very explicitly told in this section about the controller of soul and matter, that is God, because Lord himself is speaking. That is why in this Sankhya Yoga, 11 to 30, in this Sankhya Yoga, the difference between soul and the matter has been given. 20 verses practically. And we have 76 questions. Slowly it is going to come up. Today I said to Bindu Mataji, just don't put 76 questions. It will be like a bomb. Just put some few questions. The 30 or 35 questions were put in the online group. That is only for the first 10 verses. From the 11th verse to 30th, is practically 40 to 45 questions are there, where I reduced more 10 questions also. So much detailed explanation has been there. That means how important it is to be situated in this self-realization. Without self-realization, it is impossible to solve any problems in our life. The problems are in varieties. Different types of problems are there. But for every problem, there is only one solution. That is how much one is self-realized. So now somebody is not self-realized. Then somebody is he just wants, he has faith, no doubt, but he wants some benefits also. Because Atma Gyan means self-realization. Atma Gyan naturally leads to Nishkama Karma Yoga. Nishkama means he doesn't have any desire for any of the results. But if a person doesn't have Atma Jnana, he doesn't have any Atma Jnana, but has some faith, he has a faith in the process, which will naturally lead him to Atma Jnana, but he has faith in the process. And he just wants some material benefits. He wants some material benefits. For that, these two verses are there. Even if a person wants a material benefit, then these 2-3 verses are spoken, where Arjuna says, the second reason of not fighting the war was, with whom am I going to enjoy? That means there is a desire to enjoy. He thinks that if I kill all my relatives and friends, to whom am I going to show, or for whose sake I should fight and accumulate those things? That means there is a desire to enjoy. So then Krishna says, if you really want to enjoy, then 31st and 32nd verse, just go through this. 31st and 32nd verse speaks about enjoyment. You want to enjoy? Okay. Then engaging yourself in the war is the only way to enjoy. So that we'll see. 31st and 32nd is the answer for the second reason of Arjuna for not fighting the war. Because he wanted to enjoy. He wanted to have some results. Enjoyment is something, material results. Then Krishna says, okay, that is your desire. You want some material results. That is known as Sakama Karma. Sakama means I have some desire. Now you have desire to enjoy, then fighting is the only solution. So Krishna is actually trapping him from all the sides. In one side he said, why are you crying? What is this, you and I, my people and my family members? So all these things is actually, it is a ignorance. It is not knowledge, it is ignorance. Aham mama iti ajnanam. So Krishna tried to remove ignorance. Now Krishna is showing the benefits also. There are ways to treat people. Sama, Dana, Bheda, Danda. These are the ways to deal with people. If we know these ways, then it is very easy to deal with any type of people. First is Sama. Sama means try to teach him with loving words. So that Krishna has done in 11 to 30. Still Arjuna is adamant. No, I want to fight. I want to fight. Then Krishna is showing some Dana. Sama, Dana. Dana means benefits. Hey, see, because knowledge was not working with him. So because he was not pacified with the knowledge given to Krishna. That is why now what is shown? Dan is shown. Dan means, oh, you're going to get this benefits, fight. So then, Dana. Even if a person is reluctant even after showing so many benefits, then Bheda. Bheda means instill fear in the heart of that person. Hey, if you don't study, I will send you to a village to tend the buffaloes. Either mother tells or not. First mother tells, going to school is wonderful. You should study. Then the child says, no, I don't want to study. Then mother says, see, if you study nicely, if you go to school, I'll give you lollipop. Then in the desire of that lollipop, mother thinks that he's going to study, still he's not studying. And mother says, hey, if you're not studying, I will remove you from the school and send you to the village to tend buffaloes. My mother used to tell to my sister, I still remember, I was a little bit studious, I used to study, but my sister was very naughty. That time she used to tell to my sister, I will send you to hostel. So all these things she used to instill fear. I'll send you to boarding school, and immediately she used to sit and study. So this is known as Bheda. Bheda means instilling fear. And then even if that person doesn't hear, then mother takes a chadi, then starts beating. And that is known as danda. But nowadays, because the mothers are so much in anxiety, they're always working mothers. Nowadays, mothers are working mothers. They don't have time for doing all these things. Sama, dana, bheda, danda. Directly they take stick. Direct solution is what? Take a stick and start beating. But that is not the way to treat a person. Or just fire him out of the office. That is not the way for an entrepreneur to treat his employees. So this samadana bheda danda is applicable in every situation, whether it is in a house, whether it is a treatment given in the school, or whether it is a treatment given in the offices. See, these four has to be learned from Krishna, because Krishna also very patiently first is trying to teach Arjuna with sama. Sama means loving words with knowledgeable words. If knowledge is not functioning, at least show some material benefits. If that is also not functioning, then instill fear. And if that is also not functioning, then what Krishna is going to say, just see. That is danda. So now, sadharmam apicha veksha na vikampitum arhasi dharmadyuddha shreyonyata kshatriyasya na vidyate. Swadharma, this is your swadharma. Kshatriya, you are a Kshatriya. This is your religious principle. This is the second order, the matter of good administration. This is out of four, that is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. This is the second order. So this is your own religious principle. This is your own duty. Na vikampitum. Don't hesitate. Arhasi dharmyadhi yuddha shreyonyat. For you, there is no better engagement than this engagement, that is fighting. So any other thing is not a better engagement. This is the only better engagement for you. That is why don't hesitate to fight. You are a Kshatriya. Kshatrayate Kshatriya. Kshatrayate. You are supposed to give protection from harm. So was it that in Duryodhana's time people were in harm? Duryodhana was a very expert ruler. In fact, people were enjoying. Like in Ravana's rule, when Hanuman goes to Lanka, he sees, oh, in Lanka, there's so much of opulence. He goes at night, but he sees that it's not looking like night. So much of lights, and everywhere there was only opulence seen. Like if you go to Bombay side, in the night also you'll find like a daytime, so much of night lights and all is there. And people are almost awake till 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. The hotels are full. Now the situation is different. But previously when I used to go to Bandra side and all, I used to see the night is not looking like night. So Hanuman also was thinking, but still Ravana was to be removed from that ruler. Being a ruler, Ravana has to be removed from the throne because he is adharmi. Even Duryodhana is adharmi. Adharmi means though he is a very good ruler, giving all sort of material benefits to the people, but he is not giving spiritual guidance to the people. So a ruler is supposed to protect from harm, means he has to protect them in the matters of the religious principles. He has to guide them in the matter of religious principles. That is the real way to give protection. Protection from harm refers to, we have got a wonderful human body. If we are not utilizing this human body in the service of Lord, and if we are not trained also in this way, like father and mother, they become natural leaders. If the father and mother are not guiding their children in the matter of spiritual duties, then that father and mother, according to Chanakya, is an enemy of that child. If the guru is not giving spiritual duties to the children, to the disciples, is not teaching about the spiritual aspect, then that guru is not considered as a guru. That guru has to be abandoned. Like today is Bali Maharaj and Vaman Day, Vaman appearance day. So Vamana's appearance day, they call it Onam also. Today Onam is celebrated. It is believed that Bali Maharaj comes to the kingdom. So Vamana's appearance day. So when Lord Vamana, who is Krishna himself, appeared like a Brahmana, when he goes to the sacrificial altar, which Bali Maharaj performs, at that time he asks for, because when Brahmana comes naturally, the king or anyone should ask for the service. So here Bali Maharaj asked, whatever you want, O Brahmana, you can ask from me. He just asked for three steps of land, three places of land. Shukracharya says, hey, don't give him. He is Krishna himself. This person has come to cheat you. Then Bali Maharaj abandoned that guru, because if he is Krishna, then why you are not allowing me to serve him? Okay, he has understood that he is Krishna. Even Bali Maharaj also understood that he is Krishna himself. But then if he is Krishna and a guru is not allowing to serve Krishna, then what type of guru he is? So abandoning such type of guru, abandoning such type of parents who are not inclined to teach their children Krishna consciousness, that can be done by the children. So duty of the parents, if he is calling himself a parent, then it's a duty of the parent to teach the children Krishna consciousness. It is a duty of the teacher to teach Krishna consciousness. In the same way, it is a duty of the ruler, because he has taken the responsibility of the citizens. He has to protect them from harm. So Kshatriyas, they are trained in the forest and all these things. It is there. They go, especially they train themselves. They challenge a tiger when faced, and in this way. But what is the real thing? They should know to stand by the dharma yuddha. The Kshatriyas are especially trained for challenging and killing, because religious violence is sometimes a necessary factor. Now, Duryodhana is also Kshatriya, but he is also Kshatriya. But which Kshatriya has been motivated by Krishna? Krishna has motivated Arjuna to fight, because Arjuna is standing by dharma. Dharmastu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Krishna did not encourage Duryodhana. In fact, he goes like a peace messenger there and tells to Duryodhana, see, don't be inclined to fight, because the decision of fighting which came in the heart of Duryodhana was not to protect the religion, but it was out of enviousness towards the Vaishnavas or enviousness towards Pandavas. So with that type of tendency, enviousness, he had the inclination to fight. On the contrary, when Arjuna is seeing such type of enviousness also, he is reluctant to fight, and he doesn't want to kill his own members, and he is just thinking of going to the forest and going and begging and taking up a begging profession. But still Krishna is not encouraging Arjuna to do this. He says, no, you fight, because it is only you who will establish dharma. So therefore, Kshatriyas are never meant for accepting directly the order of sannyas or renunciation. Kshatriyas are supposed to protect the people from harm. Like, if it is not that every warrior is a Kshatriya. Like if you compare Shivaji and if you compare Hitler, whom will you call a Kshatriya? Naturally, in the mouth it will come Shivaji only. You will not call a Hitler to be a Kshatriya. Kshatriya means he has to follow the religious principles which has been given even for following the rules and regulations of a Kshatriya dharma. So it is said here, Aveshu mitho nyonyam jigham santo mahishitaha yudhamanaha param shaktya swargam yanti aparan mukaha yaggeshu pashavo brahman hanyante satatam dvijaha samskrita kila samantraischa tepi swargam avapnuvan. In the battlefield, a king or Kshatriya, while fighting another king envious of him, is eligible for achieving the heavenly planets. After, as the Brahmanas also attain the heavenly planets by sacrificing animals in the sacrificial fire. So if a Kshatriya who is abiding by the rules and regulations of dharma, is following dharma, then while fighting, even if he attains death, still he will attain heavenly planets. And Brahmanas also, who who perform the yajna, in which the animals are sacrificed, even they will attain even the Brahmanas will attain the heavenly planet. The killing on the battlefield on religious principles and killing animals in the sacrificial fire are not considered as an act of violence. It is not an act of violence. Because what is the intention? The intention is to kill the opponent without turning away. So the intention of the fighting is to kill the opponent who is adharmi. Then that person reaches Swarga. So killing of the animal, what is that intention? So that animals also get purified and it gets a nice body in the next lifetime. So the purification, the whole intention is not enviousness. There is a difference. It is either to protect the citizens from harm, or in the animals case, it is like to give a good life to the animals. So that intention is not enviousness. So the animals sacrificed gets a human life immediately without undergoing a gradual evolutionary process. So just see, everybody is benefited in this. So this whole act is not considered as violence because it is a dharma yuddha. Even if one party is on the dharma, other party is on the adharma, but even killed by a person who is in the dharma, even a person who is there in the adharma also gets heavenly planet. That is why Duryodhana also got heavenly planets. So killed in the battlefield, which the war which was fought for dharma, it was a dharma yuddha. The war itself was a dharma yuddha. If both are adharmic and both are fighting, none of them will be benefited. But if the whole intention is to establish dharma, then even if a person is in the wrong side, he will also be benefited. Now the animals which are sacrificed in the altar immediately gets a human body, because the Brahmanas who are performing this sacrifice, they are pure and they have a good intent. But in this Kali Yuga, animal sacrifice is not recommended because such type of qualified Brahmanas are not available. So animal sacrifice, they also get a wonderful birth. The Kshatriyas who are killed on the battlefield, they also attain heavenly planets. So there are two kinds of Swadharma, because Krishna is focusing on the Swadharma. Krishna is speaking about Swadharma. Swadharmam api. So don't, even if we consider this dharma, Swadharma, api, here api refers to, even if you consider bodily duty, leave aside spiritual duty. Even if you consider bodily duty, Arthika Dharma, Paramarthika Dharma. There are two types of dharma for everyone. Arthika Dharma means the duties pertaining to one's own body. Like I have a woman body. So naturally for a woman body, there are certain types of duty. We have to perform that type of duty. Don't try to compete with some other dress. Like every dress has a particular function. If a chudidar starts competing with the sari and the sari starts competing with chudidar, it doesn't function. Or sari starts competing with a pant and shirt, it doesn't function. Every dress has a particular duty. A soul occupying a man body has a particular duty. A soul occupying a woman body has a particular duty. A soul occupying a child body has a particular duty. So in every stage of life also, there are particular duties which a person has to do. And that is known as Arthika Dharma. So here two kinds of duties. As long as one is not liberated. So if he is not liberated, till he is not liberated, at least he should perform Arthika Dharma. The moment he is liberated, that means he should stop Arthika Dharma? No. Automatically Arthika Dharma are included in Paramarthika Dharma. What is the meaning of liberation? Mukti hitvanyatha rupam swarupena vyavastitihi. One has to be in one's own swarupa. And what is one's own swarupa? Jivera swarupo hai Krishnera nityadas. That is why one has to serve Krishna. That is his Paramarthika Dharma. And when he is performing Paramarthika Dharma, automatically all the duties are included. Even if not included, it is not considered any offense or any sin. Like Lakshmana, he followed Rama. Urmila should have followed Lakshmana because it's a wife's duty to follow husband. Like Sita followed Rama. Urmila did not go with Lakshmana. So what should be understood? Urmila did not follow Lakshmana because she wanted Lakshmana to give 100% attention to Krishna, to Rama. Because if Urmila goes along with Lakshmana, then some attention will be diverted onto her. And she did not want Lakshmana to get any diversion. That is why she did not go. In fact, she did not follow her Artika Dharma so that Paramarthika Dharma can be nourished properly. As much Lakshmana did not sleep for 14 years, here Urmila also did not sleep for 14 years. She was constantly remembering Ram and Sita and her husband. So she followed Paramarthika Dharma. For following Paramarthika Dharma, even if Arthika Dharma has to be given up, that is not considered as an offense. For Sita, it was very easy. Following Rama is Arthika Dharma also, Paramarthika Dharma also. One has to follow one's Pati. But that Pati himself is Bhagavan, then it becomes very easy. So that is how. So if a person is liberated, automatically other duties are included. If not also, other duties are glorified. Even if Arthika Dharma is not included, but still it is glorified only. As long as one is not liberated, one has to perform the duties of his particular body in accordance with the religious principles in order to achieve liberation. When one is liberated, one's swadharma, specific duty, becomes spiritual and is not in the material bodily concept. So generally we think duty means whatever activities I am doing, that is duty. No. If a person is not liberated, he has to perform the Arthika Dharma according to the religious duty. So what is the meaning of a religious duty? There is Varnashrama system which has been given. In the Varnashrama system, there are certain rules and regulations. Even for Arthika Dharma also, Varnashrama system speaks about it. Manu Samhita speaks about it. Dharma Samhita, Dharma Shastra speaks about it. One has to follow Dharma Shastra. Not that whatever I do, that is Dharma. No, Dharma has to be consulted with the who knows about the Dharma Shastra. Even if he doesn't know about the Bhakti Shastra, at least Dharma Shastra has to be followed properly. So according to the Dharma Shastra, there are 4 types of duties. Brahmana has a specific duty, Kshatriya has a specific duty. It is not that whatever work I do, I may like to do many things. But is it that? That is why there is no Varnashrama systematically followed in this Kali Yuga. There are very few people who know what is their specific duty. That is why Kalau Shudra Sambhava. In Kali Yuga, nobody is a proper Brahmana, nobody is a proper Kshatriya. Nobody is exactly following. There are only few people. Nobody here refers to not a mass scale of people. Very few, they know what is their dharma. Very few. It is not that nobody knows. Very few of them really know what is the dharma. Even if they don't know what is bhakti, at least they know what is dharma. That is Varnashrama Dharma. If Varnashrama Dharma is understood properly, he will understand the goal of Varnashrama Dharma also. If only Varnashrama Dharma is understood, the goal is not understood. Varnashrama Acharataha Purushena Parapuman Vishnu Aradite Pantah Nanatatoshakaranam. If Varnashrama Dharma is not understood properly, that means the goal of Varnashrama Dharma is not understood. Then again, if the goal is not understood, then the whole purpose of performing Varnashrama Dharma, the real purpose of following Varnashrama Dharma will not be attained. He will go up to the heavenly planet. Now here Krishna is focusing on the Varnashrama Dharma. He says, leave aside bhakti. Leave aside. Okay, bhakti is following whatever Krishna says. Even if you don't listen to whatever I say, at least perform Varnashrama Dharma. If you perform Varnashrama Dharma, that is going to give you path towards enjoyment, because his whole concern was, how am I going to enjoy if I kill my own people? So here it is said, at least follow Varnashrama Dharma. But when one is liberated, liberation is what? Taking shelter of Krishna. one's relationship with Krishna. So if a person is liberated, then one swadharma specific duty becomes spiritual. Then all the duty itself becomes spiritual. Even the artika dharma becomes spiritual. Paramarthika dharma anyhow is spiritual only. In the bodily conception of life, there are specific duties for brahmanas and kshatriyas. And as such, and such duties are unavoidable. Swadharma is ordained by the Lord. Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam. Krishna says, I have given this varnashrama dharma. If a person is not understanding Paramarthika dharma, at least follow the rules and regulations given in the Arthika dharma. Swadharma is ordained by the Lord. A grahastha has specific duties. A brahmana has a specific duties. Everybody has a specific duties. Brahmachari has a specific. Varna ashrama. In what ashrama you are? You are a grahastha or a brahmachari or vanaprasthi or a sannyasi. Everybody has specific duties. In what type of occupation you are? You are a brahmana, you are a kshatriya, or a vaishya, or a shudra. Then again there are specific duties. So sadharma is given by Krishna himself. In the 4th chapter, Krishna says, Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam guna karmaha vibhagashaha. According to the gunas, I have given such type of birth, such type of duties. On the bodily platform, Swadharma is called Varnashrama Dharma. Srila Prabhupada said that Varnashrama Dharma has to be installed, because generally we think Varnashrama is not required, but Varnashrama Dharma has to be established. Without establishing Varnashrama Dharma, it is impossible, because if we cannot neglect Varnashrama Dharma, just on the name of bhakti, we cannot neglect Varnashrama Dharma, because we are not doing bhakti also properly. Pure devotional service includes Varnashrama Dharma. It specifically or specially Varnashrama Dharma need not be followed. But if a person is really sincerely following bhakti, he will adopt simple living, high thinking. And Varnashrama principle is simple living, high thinking. Varnashrama principle is taking farm, taking cow as an economy. One's dependence should be on farm and cow. If that is not followed, and just thinking that, oh, I am a grahastha, I can go to office, and just depending on these factories and offices, and just thinking that if we have a wonderful city, and just neglecting the cows and not worshipping the cows, Varnashrama focuses on the worship of cow. Varnashrama focuses on the dependency on the farm and cows. And just because now present modern education is not encouraging Varnashrama, where dependency on cow and farm is there, that whole economy is dependent on the factories. So what is happening? Varnashrama is not established. So bhakti is also it's a struggle for bhakti which is going on. There's a struggle. You see, even for chanting 16 rounds, there is a struggle, because people want to go to office. There is a struggle. There is no calmness in the mind of a devotee, because he has to go to office. He's running his business. He in the company. That means he has so much of tension. He is not able to chant his rounds. Why? Dependency on so-called dollars and so-called rupees. We think that if we have so much of money with us, we can have a lot of purchasing power. Just imagine if the farm is neglected and there is no farm produce, are we going to eat those rupees? Are we going to eat those dollars? If mother cow is not protected, then what type of nourishment can happen to the brains? We send our children to so many classes, but if they are not nourished with the proper food, we have started this organics for the devotees, and it is a pathetic condition. Except for the devotees, everybody are taking organics. At least they have come to know organic is nothing but the crops which are nourished by the gobar and gomutra. 100 times we have told them, but they are seeing the cost factor, but they are not seeing the cost factor which is going in other things. The nourishment of the brains are not happening, and the children are not getting the proper food. but at least in the outside, the people are understanding something. For us, it is becoming very easy to give this organics to the people who are at least the customers. But people who are devotees, they are not able to understand the economy should be based on cow. The cow has to be protected. If we purchase something, chalo, we are taking some organic, that whole thing, that the profit goes to that farmer. If that farmer is nourished, why that farmer will give the cow to the slaughterhouse? Just imagine, because that farmer is not getting, because cows eat like anything. But cows eating is very good because dung is also wonderful. We are eating, our stool is not wonderful. But when cow eats, it gives wonderful things only. Cow eats like anything. So how a farmer will nourish that cow? How is he going to maintain that cow? For that, the people who are staying in the city and working outside, they should understand the importance of cow. If our economy, if our country is strengthened by this economy, that our dependency is on the farm produce, and our dependency is on the cow products. We take that Colgate. I'm just going a little out of the subject because it is coming Varnashrama. We should know, but when we study one subject, we should know it nicely also. What is Varnashrama? Generally, we hear Varnashrama, and then we think, okay, I am a Grahastha, I will do whatever I want. No. Just imagine we are using Colgate. That Colgate contains the bone of the cow. Every day morning we say, we are Hindus, we are Brahmanas. But what we are doing? We are brushing our teeth with Colgate or any type of paste. Except for an Ayurvedic paste, every paste contains bone of cow. And how the bone of the cow is got, not that cow has got a natural death and they have taken the bone out of it. The cows are forcefully sent to the slaughterhouse. In the law, in the Indian law, it has been clearly given that cow should not be slaughtered. And if at all it has to be slaughtered, it has to be sent to the slaughterhouse. The doctor has to certify. So then it has to be injured. So what they do, they just put all the cows inside one truck itself. And they just go on hitting each other with their horns and they get hurt. And immediately doctor got a nice excuse to write, fit to be slaughtered. And this cow, bichara, mother cow, is sent to the slaughterhouse. If you want to see the slaughterhouse very nicely, what it happens, you go to Chembur. There is a place there. The biggest slaughterhouse is there. There is a nice, this house also they are made like a kennel type where the blood goes outside. That is how the slaughter happens. You should know about it. And this cow now is alive. It is injected. When this cow is injected in the slaughterhouse, it goes on swelling to such an extent when that skin automatically starts shedding off. It's still alive, crying. That is how our mother is treated. And we are using all type of nonsensical things from outside. We should know this. That is how the skin comes out. And when it comes out of its own, it is sold in the market. The highest price for the softest leather, it goes to the foreign market. And we get purse for 3,000 rupees, boots 5,000, 6,000, made from cow leather. And still cow is alive, not yet dead. Then it is made to hang upside down. A small cut is given. And from that cut, the blood comes down. That is how Gonainu, which is used for a medicine for cancer, that is how it is collected. And then at last, when the last drop of blood, this cow is now dead. And then the bones are collected. And in this way, it is used for polishing the sugar. Just imagine why sugar is very harmful. Polishing the sugar. For all these reasons, this cow bone is used. That is why we are encouraging organics, though it is a bit costly, but that costly will actually save a cow, will save a farmer, will nourish the economy. And if we are to seeing money for all these things, then actually we are fools. We are sending our children to so many classes because their brains are not nourished. So Varnashrama, just imagine, Srila Prabhupada used to focus on setting up Varnashrama dharma. Now, bhakti is beyond Varnashrama, but bhakti is dependent on Varnashrama. Without Varnashrama, bhakti cannot be done. We cannot just run to office 8:30, 9 o'clock. We cannot just run to office. We cannot even study Bhagavad Gita. In anxiety, we cannot even do anything. This anxiety is because our dependency is so much on the present businesses, what we do, the present offices, what we do. Because we have lost faith. We have lost faith in the business or in the economy, which is based on farm and the cow. So much of energy we are putting in the so-called businesses of our cities. If that energy we put in having our own farm and developing our own farm products, just imagine that farmer will never, or that person who is doing this business will never be short of anything. In this COVID, many of the people did not get their salary, but a farmer was getting money because people have to eat something. The farmers were earning more. The shopkeeper who was the vegetable wala, his all subjis became double cost, triple cost, and he was earning more. But the people who were so-called CA and so-called doctors and so-called, they were all sitting at house. So-called MD and all those people, they were sitting in the house. So that is how we should understand that this economy based on Varnashrama is very important even for our bhakti. Bhakti cannot be just done by run about whole day and the mind is in anxiety. Even when we go to the yatras, we are not in the mood. Our whole mind is in how to collect money from this person, from that person. How a person with this type of consciousness can do even bhakti also. That is why Srila Prabhupada used to speak about farm projects. Have farm projects. All of you come together, live together, and do devotion together. Srila Prabhupada had so many desires. So keeping the desire into consideration, we thought we will have a farm project. We will have some devotees coming together, at least chant the holy name like we serve, and have some farm around us. Anyhow, money we have earned, some money with us, which will be there. A simple living, high thinking. In city, there is no end to the greed. The greed goes on because expenditure is also like that. There is an expenditure and there is a greed to fulfill that expenditure and go on accumulating more and more. So, Srila Prabhupada focuses on Varnashrama. Even Krishna here speaks about Varnashrama on the bodily platform. Swadharma is called Varnashrama Dharma, or man's stepping stone for spiritual understanding. What is given? It's a stepping stone. We cannot neglect Varnashrama Dharma. Varnashrama Dharma speaks about performing ritualistic activities. It's not a problem, but that ritualistic activity should be done with the higher consciousness. And what is it, consciousness? One has to chant the holy name of Krishna properly. That is the real ritual. And that is real ritual becomes spiritual. And if spirituality is done with a ritualistic activity, oh, I have to just finish my 16 rounds and run about here and there, then that spiritual becomes a ritual. If a ritual is done with an intention of expansion in spiritual, then that ritual becomes spiritual. So it is not, oh, this is ritual, we are doing something spiritual, but that spirituality you are doing with complete anxiety. What spirituality? That becomes only a so-called machine type, just chanting 16 rounds, finishing off, and then running about. The consciousness is more important. There is a person who is doing ritual with complete attention to performs, to get spirituality, benefits of spirituality, and that is a stepping stone. That is why Varnashrama means first balance your mind, simple living, first understand simple living. It's not just expansion, so much of expansion is not necessary. Swadharma is ordained in such a way. Human civilization begins from the stage of Varnashrama Dharma. This line is very, very important. Srila Prabhupada has written these commentaries. It is not some ritualistic person has written. Acharya has written this. Human civilization begins from the stage of Varnashrama. That means, who is a human first? Athato Brahma Jigyasa. One who inquires unto the absolute truth is a human. That means even to come to that point of inquiry, one has to Varnashrama Dharma. And Varnashrama Dharma is nothing but economy dependent on farm and cows. Now everybody cannot become a farmer. Everybody cannot become a gwala. You cannot just lock your offices and just run to farm. It is impractical. Then at least our life, whatever we are using in our life, let that be based on cow. In this way, you are supporting the economy based on cow and farm. Instead of eating some non-vegetarian item, eat farm produce. Instead of taking that tea and a coffee, tea and coffee were the cash crops which Britishers, what they did? They spoiled our land. How they did? They want to now spoil Vedic civilization. So what they did? They removed all the wonderful crops and they, in that place, what they did? They put this tea and coffee. Tea and coffee is not our culture. Tea and coffee reduces our life. Tea and coffee are actually, they are intoxication. Varnashrama is based on these 4 principles. No meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, no gambling. So when I'm drinking a tea, understand, I'm actually reducing my strength. Tea is a tannin drug which enters our blood and makes us addict to that thing. When I am addicted to that thing, if I don't get tea in time, then I have a headache. That means that is an addiction. So this addiction was given by the Britishers. It is only cow milk which actually nourishes our brain. You will say, oh, I'm buying a cow milk. Every day we have cow milk. But what I am putting in that? I'm putting poison in it. Tea and coffee is nothing but adding poison to tea, to cow milk, to a nectar. It is just, you have to take it. Even if you see in the Punjabis, they have Dushman ko bhi chai nahi bulao, nahi pilao. That is the proverb which I used to hear from my childhood. We had never taken anything, no tea, no coffee. Because if we just take cow's milk, that is enough to give to have a sharp memory. And also tea and coffee reduces our hunger. The moment you take tea or you take coffee, what happens? Your hunger reduces. That is why the cutting and all they drink. In the offices, they go on drinking. So that the time that they are actually hungry. But they don't have food around them. So what they do? They go on taking some coffee or tea. So night, somebody has to be awake. Then what he does? He goes on drinking tea or coffee so that he can study at night. But that is very harmful because night is meant to sleep. And when you are hungry or you are meant to eat, if you are not eating that time, then what happens? That the type of enzymes which is created, you are suppressing that enzyme, and because of which diseases come. So-called diabetes and all this is all side effects of this tea and coffee. That is how our farm, then they started putting chemicals and they started using tractors, bulls and all were sent aside. So because of that, the fertility of the farm was reduced just because we want more crops. Population, big population. Why? Before that, there was no big population. Before Britishers, there were no big population. That time it was only organics. There was no urea. This urea company, all these things came afterwards. So in this way, our land became infertile. Just 2-3 times you do, after that the land is infertile. But if you put the same thing, if you use the gobar and gomutra, the land becomes fertile. So Varnashrama means make your whole economy based on cow and strengthen it. How to strengthen it? Wherever we are working, whatever we are earning, use it in eating properly at least. Take cow products. We are trying to switch over even many things. Now vegetables, we are not getting a proper vegetable. We are functioning on that also. We're working on that also. Okay, milk, we could do it. Now slowly we have organics which has come out. Take advantage of it. Now slowly we are trying to even bring good vegetables. You may say outside vegetable is just 100 rupees. Why organic is 120? Give that 20 rupees to that farmer. It is not so easy. It is very easy to sprinkle urea and make it lot of produce comes out. Very fast it comes out. But organics, that the production is not very fast. If a bindi which comes with urea, it comes within 3-4 days. But the same bindi, if you put gobar and gomutra, it comes after 10 days. So naturally there is a gap. And that gap, how that time he has to eat also, na? That gap, how will you feel? That is why this thing is little costly. So we should understand, when we are taking nectar, naturally when you go to a diamond shop, it is costly. Anything which is wonderful is always costly. Keep your budget in such a way that you nourish this organics, you nourish your own body very properly. First, set up varnashrama within your mind first. That is why here Srila Prabhupada says, human life should begin from the stage of varnashrama dharma. First, set your varnashrama properly. That means your life should be based on the production which is coming from the usage of the gobar, gomutra. That means you have nourished the cow, you have nourished the farm. Discharging one specific duty in any field of action in accordance with the orders of higher authorities serves to elevate one to a higher status of life. So when the authorities are working for this, one has to just discharge their duties in such a way. And then Krishna says, Chopapannam swargadwaram apavritam sukinaha satriya partha labante dham idusham. So Krishna is telling to Arjuna, happy are those Kshatriyas for him, for such Kshatriyas for whom fighting opportunities come onslaught, opening for them the doors of heavenly planets. So he did not want to fight, but he is asked to fight, then he should do it. When he is challenged, a Kshatriya, when he is challenged, he should just do it. He should just fight. And it has come onslaught, unsought. Unsought means he did not seek it. Automatically it came. So as supreme teacher of the world, Lord Krishna condemns the attitude of Arjuna, who said, I do not find any good in this fighting. It will cause perpetual habituation in hell. Such statements by Arjuna were due to ignorance only. Sometimes the disciples, they fight with the Guru without understanding the position of a Guru. In the same way here also, Arjuna, he was arguing with Krishna without understanding the position of Krishna. So he says, I do not find any good. Every time I was used by Arjuna. What you say, I don't think it is good. Suggestions were given. Actually, real disciple is one who never gives suggestion to Guru. Guru knows what is good, what is bad. If he suggests, that means he is Guru. Who gives suggestion? Only when he thinks that he knows many things, then only he becomes a Guru. Then he thinks himself a Guru. Or he considers Guru on the same platform, then he starts giving suggestion. So suggestions are given only on an equal platform. When you say, you are my Guru, then if we give suggestion, then that is what we think, that Guru does not know to take decision. That is why my suggestion will be very beneficial to him. So that is not considered a real surrenderance. That is on a friendly level. Then the Guru also becomes friend to that disciple. He doesn't consider himself as a Guru. Like Krishna did not advise Arjuna anything when he was giving suggestions. That time Krishna became friend to him on a friendly level. Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita only when Arjuna told, Shadi Mam Tuam, I am just surrendering unto him. I am surrendering unto you. 7th verse of Bhagavad Gita. Karpanya dosho pahata savava prachami tvam dharma sammudapeta. Yashreyasya nishtitam bruhitat. Shishyasteham shadi mam tvam prapanna. Please accept me as your Shishya. When you say Shishya means, naturally, you should understand that your Guru knows much more than you. Or you are seeking suggestion from Guru, not giving suggestion to Guru. Then that is the mood of Guru Shishya. Or it is a mood of friends. So leaving the friendly talk,
Krishna started giving now instructions. Now what instruction Krishna is giving? Even if you want to enjoy, then this Kshatriya dharma or fighting which has come without you seeking for it, then do it. Then don't think that you are going to go to hell out of it. He wanted to become Arjuna wanted to become non-violent. For a Kshatriya to be on the battlefield and to become non-violent is a philosophy of fools. Sometimes out of daya, out of so many dharma shastras, people go on advising. So even Arjuna was advising based on dharma shastra, but Krishna is speaking on jnana shastra and bhakti shastra. So in the Parashara Smriti or religious codes of made by Parashar, the great sage, and the great sage and the father of Vyasadeva, Kshatriyo hi prajarakshan shastrapani pradandayan nirjityaha parasanyadi kshitim dharmena palayet. Kshatriya's duty is to protect the citizens from all kinds of difficulties. And for that reason, he has to apply violence in suitable cases in law for law and order. Therefore, he has to conquer the soldiers of inimical kings, and thus, with religious principles, he should rule all over the world. So, what is a Kshatriya duty? He has to protect the citizens from all kind of difficulties, and for that, he can use violence also. So, considering all the aspects, Arjuna had no reason to refrain from fighting. If he should conquer his enemies, he would enjoy the kingdom, and if he should die in the battle, he would be elevated in the heavenly planets, whose doors were wide open to him. Fighting would be beneficial in their case. So even if he dies in the battlefield, it is beneficial. He will go to heavenly planet. If he wins, if he conquers, then he is going to enjoy the whole earthly planet, because it was the time whole earthly planet was controlled by Duryodhana in the wrong hands. So that is why Dharma Yuddha was very much necessary. So when Dharma Yuddha, in that fighting, if he dies also, it is beneficial. If he conquers also beneficial. That is why Krishna says, this is the way for you even to attain Swarga. Let us speak only about this material benefits. Now in these two verses, material benefit has been spoken. And what is that material benefit for a Kshatriya? A Kshatriya who follows at least his Swadharma. Swadharma, that is Arthika Dharma. Arthika Dharma means based on bodily duties. So based on bodily duties, you are a Kshatriya. Even if you fight based on Arthika Dharma, that is also going to be beneficial for you. It is going to give you Swarga. So in this way, material benefits has been shown in 31st and 32nd, because second reason of Arjuna was based on material desire. That is, how am I going to enjoy? Enjoyment is nothing but a material desire. That is why Krishna also gives material answer for this. From 33rd verse onwards, the third reason which Arjuna told, that I will be incurring sin. If I fight with my own people, I will incur sin. For that, 33rd, 34th, 30th, 35th, all these things are spoken. That will do next time. Hare Krishna. Any questions in this? You can ask. 5 minutes, we can 5 to 10 minutes, we can have question answer session. 5 to 7 minutes. Because children class will start after this 7 o'clock. Yeah. No questions? Mm-hmm.
Any questions you all can ask by unmuting your mic. I have unmuted yours. Mataji, please unmute your mic. Hello.
So the questions are given today based till verse 10. So you all can answer those questions. And after the second chapter, we will have an examination. Still many verses are still there. So learn these verses every day, keep a system. read Bhagavad Gita till what we have done, at least read the purpose of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada's every word is very important. Every purport, every sentence is very important. To study very sincerely.
Hare Krishna. Mataji, Sripad Madhvacharya's Panchabheda Siddhanta.
Panchabheda. Because anyhow we were doing Bheda. Knowledge means understanding the difference. Understanding the difference between soul, matter, God. Jada Brahma, Jiva Brahma, and Para Brahma. So understanding these differences. But in these differences also, Srila Madhvacharya has given Panchabheda. Within matter also, there is difference. There is difference between matter. Is difference or not? There is difference between combination of matter also. Now, body is a combination of 24 elements. But you see, every body is looking different, isn't it? Within that material elements also there is a difference. So difference between matter, soul, anyhow there is a difference that we saw in the 11th to 30th verse. Then soul. Not that every soul is same. Soul. Everyone's consciousness is also different. Soul. Then matter, soul. Soul, God. There is difference between soul and God. Soul cannot become God. Then there is a difference between matter, God. So this is known as Panchabheda, 5 Vedas. Within that Veda, matter, God, matter, soul. Soul, God, soul. This is the Panchabheda which Sripad Madhvacharya has given. Because you're going to,
From Binsi Jairam Prabhu,
yeah.
can you please explain Paramarthik Dharma once more?
Paramarthika Dharma. I have not spoken about Paramarthika Dharma. I just spoke about Arthika Dharma only. But much explanation about Paramarthika Dharma I had not given. Paramarthika Dharma means one's duty towards Krishna. So for everyone, Paramarthika Dharma is he is servant of Krishna. Right from chanting of the holy name, working for Krishna, everything comes in Paramarthika Dharma. How to please Krishna's senses. Simple. How to please Krishna's senses. That is the work of, that is actually Paramarthika Dharma. Any activity you do to accomplish one's own desire, that becomes Arthika Dharma. The moment you think about fulfilling the desire of Krishna, how to understand Krishna's desire? Read Bhagavad Gita. Krishna has clearly told his desire, he has explained also. Manmanabha matpatto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishi satyante pratidani priyosime. Become my devotee, chant my name. That is Krishna's desire. Krishna says, Yat karoshi, yadashnashi, yad juhoshi, dadasi, yat whatever you are giving, whatever you are doing, do it for me. Whatever you are eating, give it to me. Just imagine how Krishna is so simple. Now, I cannot say, when you are eating something, like if you are drinking something, I cannot say, give me also. We have that ego, na? How will I ask? It's not good to ask. But Krishna is telling, Yat karoshi, yadashnashi, whatever you are eating, give it to me. That is Krishna's desire. That is Paramarthika Dharma. Accomplish the desire of Krishna, that is Paramarthika Dharma. The moment you think about your desire, that is Arthika Dharma. How to understand more about Paramarthika Dharma? Just follow what your spiritual master says. Finish. Because spiritual master is the representative, close representative of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada has given us certain things to do. Just do that. If we do that, that is enough. If we do something extra, that is problem. Just do whatever acharyas have told. Srila Prabhupada has given each and every statement so wonderfully. Just follow those statements. What is the desire of Srila Prabhupada? Follow it over Paramarthika Dharma. Next, somebody else written some question there.
Next question by Nupur
What was that?
Gupta Mataji.
Huh?
Next question by Nupur Gupta Mataji.
Yeah, what is
Can you
that?
please explain what is the dharma of a Sudra? Is it just to serve, labor, and do menial job?
Shudra, help, allow Shudra Sambhava. Now everybody is Shudra. Don't just think cleaning. Everybody is a Shudra only. Now, first understand what is Brahmana's work. Then only we'll understand what is.
That's very good concept.
Brahmana is considered to be the head of Krishna. Brahmana, Krishna's body, head, hands, stomach, legs. Hands are Kshatriyas, head is Brahmana, stomach is Vaishya, feet are Shudras. So now, Brahmana's work is to study the scriptures, guide the society with the help of scriptures. Brahmana doesn't go to earn. Brahmana gets charity. Brahmana is authorized to accept charity. Dan can be taken only by a Brahmana. He should only keep how much he is required, and then rest he should give it in charity. So taking charity, giving charity, again Brahmana also does that. Kshatriya is supposed to take guidance from Brahmana and protect the people. Protection of the society is done by Kshatriya, but under the guidance of Brahmana. Vaishya is for trading. Vaishya is supposed to do the trading activity, the agricultural department, farming department, trading department, all comes in Vaishya department. Shudras are supposed to serve all the three upper classes. That is the work of a Shudra. He is supposed to serve all the three classes. Shudra has to be protected by the upper three classes. They are to be protected. They work under them. They work under them. Now, if you see a Brahmana is also going to office, he is also Shudra only. Whoever is going to getting earning, he is a Shudra. That is why in this Kali Yuga, is Kalau Shudra Sambhava. Prabhupada says establish Varnashrama, establish Vedic structure. So Brahmana should get time also to study. Kshatriya should have that energy to protect also. That type of, it is just now the Kali Yuga has started. So first destruction happened is in Varnashrama. That is how the Kali Yuga still has not, that full-fledged Kali Yuga has not started. It is just the beginning now. Even it is not the beginning. After 5,000 years more, there will be a beginning where Krishna's name only will not be found. Nobody will be chanting. It is now only Yuga, one from Yuga, and one Yuga to another Yuga. It is only a passing phase is going on. Yugantara. So now another 5,000 years we are safe. Chanting of the holy name will be going on. But after that, that is the time real Kali Yuga will start. Where no Varnashrama, nothing will be there. At least now some protection is there. People are aware at least of some cows, farms and all those things. Varnashrama is still there, little bit. There are people who are studying the scriptures. Srila Prabhupada, who is there to guide all of us. So still we are studying scriptures, something is going on. But after 5,000 years, all these things also will not be there. So it is a era till 5,000 more. After that, the real darkness will start. Okay. Anything else? Okay, here we'll stop. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you all for coming for the class. We'll meet again next Sunday, same time, 5:30. Ending the call for all. Hare Krishna.